Hi guys, happy to be here. Thanks Dave for introducing me, and special thanks for pronouncing my name correctly. So today I'll be talking about HipChat Connect, about add-ons that you can build on top of the new features that we introduced over the last year. And in particular, I'll be concentrating on the tips and tricks on how to utilize the new functionality that we built. But first of all, let's start with Atlassian. Atlassian suite of products is very popular among teams, especially software teams. People use our products throughout every stage of development lifecycle, from envisioning within Confluence all the way to supporting the final product within Jira Service Desk. Each Atlassian tool plays a part in helping teams to continuously deliver value to their customers. And each product has a distinct part in the development lifecycle. However, when we started talking to our customers, we realized that one product was used throughout the whole workflow. And this product was HipChat. As the industry moved towards real-time collaboration, HipChat became essential to the way teams work. Teams use HipChat across the whole workflow. They chat and discuss work inside HipChat. They monitor customer feedbacks via notifications from Jira, user voice, or social media. HipChat helps them keep track on who is working on what via integration with Jira or Trello. By connecting HipChat to the apps that teams use every day, HipChat became the place where teams work in the flow. They stay on top of their work, they manage unplanned work, and they also react to changes within HipChat. In fact, we know that 80% of active teams use HipChat integrations now. HipChat is mainly used as notification hub for all other productivity apps. For example, HipChat is the place where people discover when something goes pear-shaped. For example, that's where you discover that build gets broken. And this is where you actually discuss how to fix your build and how to take next steps. But we've seen that there was potential for integration to do much more than just notifications. What if you could discover important events, discuss it within HipChat, agree on the next steps, and take actions all from within the application that you spend most of your day in? This is where the chat ops concept comes from. The practice is picking up speed. Bots are used, mostly by technical teams, to do more than just receive notifications. They're used to trigger automated deployments, for example, and monitor the progress of those deployments inside the rooms. But what about non-technical teams? The constructs that developers could use to build integrations with HipChat were just too simplistic. While slash commands are great for simple use cases, they're not very discoverable. And for something more complex, they're very limiting. It was time for us to invest into a richer API for HipChat and turn HipChat into a rich developer platform. This is where HipChat Connect came from. Last year, we came to AtlasCamp and we announced our intention to develop HipChat Connect. Now, let me share a secret. Back then, we didn't have a single line of production code. We have our proof of concept, but we didn't have anything in production running for it. And we worked really, really hard throughout the whole year to take the proof of concept into the private beta, and then public beta, and then release it for everyone. And I want to take a second and thank a lot of people in this room for helping us throughout the journey. Now we have more than 35 partners who already utilize these new capabilities and build integrations and add-ons on top of the new capabilities. Thank you very much, guys. So what is HipChat Connect? First of all, it's an API that allows you to build very compelling add-ons. The API provides several building blocks, which, when put together, can give you a very engaging experience to your users. Let's go through those building blocks. The first one is cards. Cards gives add-on developers an ability to send nicely rendered notifications. You just send us some JSON blob, and we'll make sure that the blob is rendered nicely in all the clients we support. There are several types of those cards, and I'll go through some of them later in the talk. The second building block is actions. As the name implies, it allows people to perform simple actions within HipChat. Users can initiate a conversation by bringing some content to the chat using input actions, or users can react to messages by invoking actions on those messages. For example, internally we developed this add-on that allows to invoke add this message as a reminder action on the messages. But sometimes actions are not enough and you want to develop something richer. This is where dialogues can help. You can develop the simple mini applications within dialogues. The next building block is glances. And we actually spent quite a bit of time deciding how to name this visual element. And at the end, we settled on glances because it describes its intention perfectly. Glances allows add-on to expose the status or a summary of the integration in one glance, hence the name. Users can quickly see if builds are broken or a summary of your marketing campaign. Furthermore, you can click on a glance to see the sidebar view. And this is where you can expose more information of your integration. Using HipChat Connect, you can turn a room in full command center specialized for your trade. This is what Confluence team did to turn this room into a room for Confluence releases to the cloud. At one glance, you can see the status of the release. You can see if there are any blockers. And you can dive in a little bit deeper to figure out exactly what blockers are, and you can address them. Overall, this is what we see is the next generation of chat ops. Chat ops is when chat becomes a nervous center for your team. This is where you can see overview of what's happening. You get notified about problems, and then you can work together to solve those problems, all in real time. So HipChat Connect is a framework for real-time collaboration. And it's not just a framework for technical teams. It can be used for non-technical teams as well. And when we are thinking about chat ops, we identified 4 distinct stages where the normal conversation in the chat happens. The first one is discovery. Obviously, you discover important events within chat via notifications that get piped into the chat. You discuss those notifications by bringing the relevant data in the chat, and you talk to the rest of the team about what to do next. When you decided what to do next, you come up with a decision, you should be able to perform simple actions within HipChat and close the loop. So with this in mind, let me give you 6 different tips that fit perfectly, that allow you to write a compelling add-on that fits perfectly into this model. The first one is an obvious one. Use HipChat as a notification hub. The team is already in HipChat, and it's only natural to discover important information about broken builds, for example, or newly discovered blocker issues inside Jira by sending those notifications into relevant HipChat rooms. Those are examples of notifications, the cards that I was talking about earlier. The first one is the media card, then there is an object card, and the activity card, which is a little bit more complicated. The user can expand this activity card and see what object this activity was actually done on. However, as your team grows, the notifications can turn into a fire hose. And this is the typical scenario we saw internally and we saw when talking to our users. Typical evolution starts like that. You discover a nice integration, you install it in a room, and it becomes more and more popular. As it becomes popular, you'll get more notifications piped in the room. At some point, you notice there's only notifications in the room. There is no chat going on. And typically, what teams do, they decide, well, you know what? I'm going to create a separate room just for notifications, and I'm going to keep talking in a different room. And when you have a separate room, less and less people go there to see notifications. And integration becomes somewhat less relevant, not very good. So how do you deal with that? Well, with this in mind, the second tip is to strive for high signal-to-noise ratio. Let's dive into the exact problem that we want to solve here. The same screenshot, and I'll be coming back to it to illustrate some of the problems that we solve with the new building blocks of the framework. Look at the highlighted notification. I actually came back from lunch. I see that there is an alert happening, and I need to know if this alert, that someone is working on it, and whether it has already been fixed. I can actually see 2 green notifications down the bottom. Does it mean that this has already been fixed? And then I realized that the time I spent outside of the room, I haven't seen any alerts. Does it mean that I need to scroll up through the history and find out what I missed? I need a summary. So now you can actually have a summary in the glance. You can see that status page reports that everything is operational. You can also see that your marketing campaign generated 228 mentions on Twitter. And you can further click on the glance to see what those mentions are. You don't want to pipe every single mention into the room, because it will be just all mentions and no conversation inside the room. But you still want to give the ability to your users to get this information when needed. The next tip is about reducing context switching if possible. Again, back to the example. You see this particular alert, and you want to learn a little bit more about it. You want to know if anyone is actually working on it. Also, you've seen something similar before, so you want to figure out whether this is exactly the same what you fixed before, and you can probably help to fix the same problem right now. In the old world, the only way to do it is to go to another application and figure everything out, and then come back and talk to the rest of the team. Now you can do something better. And that's what Big Panda did. Big Panda is an app that aggregates your alerts and helps you solve production incidents. When you receive a notification from Big Panda in HipChat, you can click on a link and find what's the context of for this notification. So in this case, you can see that this notification is about purchasing system, and there's already been 3 alerts associated with these notifications. You can quickly realize that this is something really important and needs to be escalated. So you've made a decision within seconds without leaving HipChat. Great. However, I just want to warn you here that there's not that much real estate in the sidebar or in a dialogue. So don't try to cram all of your application inside the sidebar. If you need to direct people outside of HipChat, and sometimes it's valid to do that, leave a link in the sidebar for users to do that. The next tip is about providing relevant data into the conversation. And sometimes the simplest thing can dramatically improve the quality of the chat. For example, our Jira add-on. It listens to messages, and when it finds a link to a Jira issue, it goes and retrieves the data from Jira and pipes it into the room. What it means is that everyone in this room will be informed what this message is about. They don't need to click on the link and figure out what the original author was talking about. Zendesk implemented the same thing for their integration. If someone mentions the Zendesk ticket, the relevant data is piped into the room. And this simple functionality is probably the most used functionality inside our very powerful Jira integration with HipChat. But it's possible to go one step further. If you are working with documents and talking about them, you can use cloud integration that allows you to search through the documents that you have in the cloud. And this way, you can bring them in the conversation as well. Top Docs are doing a similar thing by allowing you browse through your documents in the cloud, and when you find the right one, you can share it in the room. They also do an extra step. The documents that were shared in the room are actually recorded, and you can always come back when viewing the Shared to Room tab in their integration. Really useful. The next tip is about team. HipChat is about team collaboration, and successful integration puts the team use case at the forefront. And I just want to give you an example of Lucid Chats. They managed to do it very elegantly. When you try to create a new chat, Lucid integration puts a notification in the room. So people who need to know about this new chat and need to collaborate on it can join and collaboratively create this new chat. And when you are finished, you can post about it in the room so that everyone in the room can go and check out the new chart. So the sixth tip is about helping users to perform simple actions from within HipChat. Sometimes you have all the information you need inside the conversation already, and you want to act on it. You want to perform a simple action and close the loop right there and then. Close an incident, for example, or answer a support case, or maybe escalate an issue. And I want to give you an example how one of our partners, Notify, did that very elegantly. Notify is an integration that allows you to monitor social media. In this case, it's configured to monitor tweets for, let's say, for our application that we are developing. And William is actually right now suggested a new feature for our add-on, for our application. And because we monitor everything about our application inside our HipChat room, we noticed that he actually made this suggestion. And our product manager, who looks through these suggestions from time to time, decides that this is a very useful one. It's actually a good idea to go and implement it. But I need to first agree with the team that it is the case. So you can use the functionality from the add-on to pipe this tweet into the conversation and talk with the team about it. And you realize that it's actually a great idea and it's not that difficult to implement, and you'll be able to implement it within the next week and get it released. So the next step is to let William know that you're going to be doing it. And normally, how do you do that? You actually tweet him back that it's going to be available in a week. And before we introduce the new features, the only way to tweet back would be to exit HipChat, go to a new browser tab or to Twitter client, find the right tweet, and reply to the tweet there. But now you can use it within HipChat, using the dialogues, for example. You can click the reply button, you can type your reply, and the reply is sent. Great. So you've closed the loop without leaving HipChat. Awesome. So those are 6 tips that help you create great functionality for your users. And let's recap them. Bring the information to chat view via notifications. Maintain high signal-to-noise ratio. If possible, reduce context switching for your users. Inform the conversation inside HipChat by bringing the relevant data in. make your add-on about team. And if I were to choose the most important one, that would be the most important one. It's all about team. And the last one, allow users to perform simple actions without leaving HipChat. And if you noticed, all those tips about functionality. And you guys, as add-on vendors, know more than anyone else that sometimes functionality is not enough. You might have perfect features, but you still don't have a lot of active users. And obviously, active users are the most important part of every add-on. So let me talk about strategies that would help you to gain those active users. First, let's go through the normal flow of installing integration. You are within HipChat, then you go to a marketplace that we have inside HipChat itself, you find the right integration, you click on install, you approve all the permissions, you're back to the room, but nothing changed. There's nothing changed, nothing whatsoever. Okay, maybe you are, as the person who installed integration, would know to go and read the documentation about the add-on and learn how to use it. But what about other people in the room? How are they going to get engaged? How are they going to become active? And sometimes we see this circle that's add-on vendors, and sometimes we internally in Atlassian, when we write add-on, we go through this bad circle. You notice that add-ons getting installed, but there's not a lot of active users. So the normal thing you do, you just go and reach to your users and try to figure out whether there are any missing features. They'll give you the list of missing features. You go and implement them. You get those features deployed, but still no active users, or no more active users. And sometimes we refer to it as a circle of death. How can we solve it? Well, the important bit is to treat engagement as a funnel. The funnel is not just for marketing. You can look through the engagement as a funnel and make sure that you don't drop users in different stages of this funnel. And with HipChat, people go through discovery, installation, configuration, evaluation, before they become active and engaged. And if you're working only on new features, you're affecting the last 2 steps of the funnel. So what about these 4 steps on top? You don't want to leak any users up there. So how do you do that? First of all, discovery. And in Atlassian, we're blessed with Marketplace. A lot of users discover new add-ons in Marketplace, and it's good already. But you still need to work really, really hard on your Marketplace listing. And let me illustrate it by asking you this question. Who knows what this logo is? Hands up. What about this one? Okay, so everyone knows the Twitter logo. The first one was the Notify logo, the add-on that allows you to monitor Twitter notifications. And when your customers try to find integration with Twitter, they won't know to look for Notify. They will be looking for Twitter. So when you are creating a listing, try to put yourself in customers' shoes and highlight what they would be looking for inside of your listing. It will help you quite a bit. The next is installation. And HipChat is quite unique in its permission model. You can create global integrations, which are installable by global admins only, or you can also allow your add-ons to be installed in rooms. And in this case, those installations will be installable by room admins. And obviously, there are more room admins than global admins, which means you open up your integration to more users. There is a trade-off in that, because global integration can access larger permissions. But sometimes this trade-off is well worth it, because you can gain users. The next bit is configuration. And the simple rule there, avoid friction. Every single step in the configuration means a small barrier for people to overcome. The less barriers, the more people will stay inside the engagement funnel. And TopDocs, for example, solved the biggest barrier in configuration, user signups. They create their accounts by using the HipChat accounts transparently, so people can start using integrations straight away. And then you need to teach your users how to use the integration. When a user installs integration, drop a notification in the room explaining what the integration is for and what the use case is. This way, it's not only the person who installed the integration who would know about the add-on, but everyone in the room will know about it and will have the opportunity to get engaged. And of course, don't forget the features. Building the right features is still the most important part of building the whole integration. And I talked about it at the beginning of my talk. So all right, I hope everyone is really interested in building integration right now. And you guys know how to make engaging integration that are used by a lot of users. So how do you get started? First of all, we've got documentation under developer.atlassian.com. We've got tutorials that help you to get started. We've got examples how to use API, and we've got small building blocks for design as well, for visual design. But if you're building your first add-on for HipChat, I highly recommend to use the framework that we have. The framework that are written in Python and Node.js, and they will allow you to get started within an hour and have your add-on within an hour. Once the add-on is built, you need to host it somewhere. And I know a lot of you guys are hosting your add-ons on Amazon. And one of our partners, Gorilla Stacks, they're specializing on automation and on reducing the operational cost for people who host on Amazon. And they have a lot of different ways of reducing this cost, but one of the ways is using Lambda functions. And they've written the framework that actually help you to get started with writing HipChat add-ons on top of the Amazon Lambda functions. And they're going to give a talk. James is going to talk about it today at 4 o'clock. So if you're interested, go listen to that. We also have 3 more guys from Atlassian talking about HipChat add-ons. We've got Patrick, our architect, who is describing best practices. Royce, our designer, who is talking about how to make your add-on visually appealing and how to make sure UX in your add-on is perfect. And Glenn is talking about the use cases that we developed internally. So thank you very much, guys. I know I only had half an hour to go through a lot of functionality, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. I'll be available throughout the whole AtlasCamp. I encourage you to come and ask me questions. I'll be very helpful. I'll try to be very helpful. And to preempt the question that I think a lot of you might be asking, let me answer it right now. Is the HipChat Connect available on HipChat server? And yes, it is. Thank you, guys.